it's Maud MacDonald, the Retro Quilter, and today I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful scrappy binding with some leftover fabric. Let's go. Okay, so I have actually just finished making a Pop and Posies quilt, and with all of the leftovers from my fat quarters, I'm going to make a scrappy binding. So to start, I'm going to take my leftover scraps from the fat quarters that go across or horizontally 21 inches approximately. And I like a standard 2.5 size binding. So I'm going to cut all my strips into 2.5 inch strips. Okay, now we're going to assemble our strips. So we're going to start with our left strip with the right side up, and with the strip that we are going to attach to this, it's going to be facing down. Okay, we are going to align our corners as so. All right. We're basically putting together normal binding. It just happens to be that we're using different strips. That is it. Okay, so I have a fancy laser on my machine, so I don't need to mark corner to corner. Okay. However, if you don't have a fancy laser or some seam tape, what have you, you can always mark. And you will sew along that line. And you're going to do this with all of your strips. And once that is sewn, then that becomes the left side and it goes face up, and your next strip will go face down just like this. We have this beautiful piece of binding. I just love it. Look at how pretty. Okay, but now we have all these little dog ears, and we're going to trim those off. I'm going to put my ruler at a 1/4 inch mark, this nice black line, directly on the seam, so that when I cut, I'll have a nice 1/4 inch seam allowance. And when I press it open, I have this beautiful binding. I'm so excited. Also, I wanted to mention that I am making this binding for my Pop and Posies quilt, and it requires 15 strips. Now, if you need to figure out how many strips at whatever size you prefer, a wonderful resource is Robert Kaufman's quilting calculator. It's an app, it's free, and it is lovely and a fantastic and free resource. I highly, highly recommend it. So I'm going to continue doing this until all of my dog ears have been removed, and I'll take it over to the ironing board. All my dog ears have been trimmed. So now I need to press these seam allowances all open. I'll start by doing that. Now you might find you want to do press all of the seam allowances open first and then go back and iron your binding. Or you might just want to do it all in one shot. Whatever suits you, go for it. I'm doing a single fold binding, so all I'm going to do is fold it over, line it up edge to edge, give it a good press. and then continue on. I'm going to continue doing that until your whole binding has been pressed. Okay, I'm just going to continue winding this so it's all ready for when I need it. Now I have used similar lengths of my strips, but if you don't have that, or if you want to use little bits or something of your scraps, by all means. It just will probably take a little bit more work with all the little pieces, but the principles are all the same, and you will need the same width of each strip. That's the important thing. So I'm going to get this wound up, put it aside for when I'm ready to actually put it on my quilt. I hope you have found this helpful, and I hope you'll use this at some point and use up some scraps. And until then, keep it quilty, friends.